Hi everyone! In this lesson we're going to be working with integers. So let's take a look at our focus. Our focus is to add and subtract integers and to solve problems involving integers. And by the end of this lesson you should be able to answer these two questions. What are the rules of adding two integers? And what are the rules of subtracting integers? What we're going to talk about first is what integers are. Integers are the set of positive whole numbers and their opposites and 0. And opposites, since that's in the definition of integers, we need to also know what opposites are. Opposites are the numbers that are the same distance from 0 on the number line, but in opposite directions. So in this example, the opposite of negative 4 is 4. What I want to start with is a key concept for adding integers with the same sign. When you're adding integers with the same sign, the sum of two positive numbers is going to be positive. The sum of two negative integers is going to be negative. So here we have an example of having the same sign. Positive 3 and a positive 5 equals positive 8. And here we have a visual on a number line. We have 0 to 3 and then we're adding a positive 5. So we're moving in the direction of the right side since it's positive on our number line. And for this example, we have negative 3 and we're adding a negative 5. Negative 5, since it's negative, we're moving to the left on the number line to equal negative 8. Next, let's talk about when we're adding integers with different signs. What we're going to do is we're going to add, when adding integers, we find the absolute value of each number. And we're going to subtract the lesser absolute value from the bigger number. The sum has the same sign of the integer with the greater absolute value. So in this case, the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. So we already know that the absolute value of 5 being 5 is greater. And that's a positive value in the first place, so our solution is going to be positive. While in this one, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5, which is more than 3. So we already know that the original sign is negative, so our solution is also going to be negative. That's going to come in very handy when we're practicing these skills. So let's use a number line to help us visualize adding 1 to negative 8. So we're starting at negative 8 on our number line. And we're adding 1, which is a positive value, so we're moving to the right on the number line to equal negative 7. Next, let's take a look at, we're starting at negative 1. And we're asked to add a negative 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is 7. So I already know that that is larger than negative 1. So my value, my solution is going to be negative. So if I have negative 1 and I'm adding a negative 7, and that means I'm moving to the left on the number line. So let's move to the left 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That takes me to negative 8. So there we go. Having a visual is always really helpful, but you can also use the rules of finding the absolute value to help you figure out whether your solution is going to have a negative or positive value. Now let's talk about subtracting integers. To subtract an integer, you're going to add its opposite. So in other words, we are asked to find 4 minus 6. So we're starting at 4 and we're taking away 6, which means we're moving to the left on the number line, which would equal negative 2. In other words, we are adding its opposite. We're adding negative 6 to equal negative 2. Whenever we have we're subtracting a negative value, we are just going to add its opposite. So that would look like this. Negative 2 plus, so we're changing that subtraction to addition, and we're adding its opposite. And the opposite of -5 is +5 to equal 3. So let's take a look at some examples of subtracting integers. Here we have -6 on our number line. This is where we're starting. And we're subtracting 1. We're taking away one value. So we're moving to the left on the number line to take us to -7. Now for this problem, we are subtracting a negative value, which is the same as adding its opposite. So I'm going to rewrite it as -3 plus 3. So here we're going to start at -3, and we're going to add a positive value, which means we're moving to the right on the number line 3 place values. 1, 2, 3 to equal 0. And there we go. Let's take a moment to review what we've learned so far today in adding and subtracting integers. When adding and subtracting integers, you should be able to answer what are the rules to adding to integers and what is the rule for subtracting integers. Don't forget, whenever you are subtracting a negative value, it's the same as adding its opposite. Same as adding its opposite. If you have any questions regarding this lesson, please don't hesitate to let me know.